you have received from the chairperson, the deputy commissioner, a very erudite overview or general statement in respect of what training of the human capital means and what it could accomplish. I hope you made some notes, because you could use that as a guiding principle for yourselves as you go through your endeavor in life. I want to carry on from where he left off. Permit me, Mr. Chair, to look at the theme, because as in all things, if you have a theme or focus point, it helps you to concentrate on the objective through that theme. And the theme which has been chosen is igniting team spirit to grow together. And I want to make a statement in respect of that, and I wish that we would all remember it. I'm sure you've all heard it at one time or another, and it is this: a chain is as strong as its weakest link. I've heard that from the time I was a little fellow at school. But that for me is a great summation of what building or igniting team spirit entails. Because in the effort to build team spirit or build a team, and you have to build a team if you want to have a spirit of the team, one has to look at all of the attributes, all of the different elements that comprise the team, all the different human elements, persons involved, and you are the elements in this effort to construct this team and to develop the team spirit so that the team can go forward together in a common purpose or with a common purpose to achieve a common or common goals or objectives which have been established for you to accomplish as a ministry and as a department. What are some of the attributes of developing, igniting team spirit? And one such element is captured or could be captured in the expression all for one and one for all. And that connotes that in the performance of the duties which have been assigned, or the looking at the objectives which the Department of Labor under the Ministry of Labor has been assigned by the government, by the laws, that we have a responsibility to follow with diligence, with understanding, and with a commonality of purpose what we want to accomplish. What are we to accomplish as a Department of Labor? And I have spoken of this many times over. We are not a claims shop only. We've gone beyond that in the last 3 years. We have become an integral part of the economic and social development of the Federation of St. Kitts and Nevis. So you're not just there to receive information, tick off people who come and how many people you've seen. We've gone beyond that. Those are only the mechanical aspect of what we do. But as a unit, as a ministry, we are called upon to work in partnership with our tripartite partners, representatives of labor or representatives of employees, that is the workers, and that is a critical part of what we do. to find out what their concerns are and to pursue those concerns and to resolve any matter which is affecting the body of workers in their place of work. On the other hand, we are there to work in the representatives of the employers, those persons who run businesses, whether they are big businesses or small businesses. Our focus and our objective is to work along with those two partners to ensure that the labor environment or the labor market environment remains stable, stable and dynamic can't operate in the same breath, because the two things are contradictory, but remain in a state of where there's no conflict, state of harmony. And where conflicts arise, our function is to resolve those conflicts in accordance with the legislation and with the objective of establishing or maintaining a peaceful and harmonious labor market environment. Now, we can train and we can equip you or anybody with significant skills. But the actual results or the actual test of whether we have done a good job in the training, as we are doing here today at this second annual professional day for you as staff of the Labor Department and Labor Ministry, is how well do you execute and carry out or perform your duties, and how well you perform those duties to the satisfactory resolution of any issues which are presented to you, and how well, through your skills, combined as a team, we are able to ensure that in the performance of our duties and dealing with those issues in the labor market environment, we can ensure that the harmony and the productivity or the environment to facilitate productivity, increase productivity over time, is maintained so that we can have fewer issues, fewer terminations, fewer late or problems with persons not showing up for work because they're unhappy. These are the things which we have to look at, and here we are today trying to get you as a department, as employees within the Ministry of Labor, to develop the skills of building team spirit so that you can grow together in the performance of your duties. There are other matters which I think we could look at in terms of attributes of the building of team or igniting team spirit and growing together. One such thing is all must be pulling together in the same direction. If you have divergence of paths, and pulling in the same direction is not to say that you must not have your own thoughts and ideas. Nobody's trying to create an automaton of you. We're not trying to create machines of you. We are trying through the training to create thinking, critical thinking persons in the job place, outside of the job place, for your own personal development, which can then redound to the benefit of the workplace in which you function. So pulling together in the right direction, because every ounce of energy which is a distraction, which is trying to derail the process of going in the same direction, would prevent you, preclude you from achieving the maximum output and the maximum best results. I'm not just going to say results. The maximum output from your effort and the activity in which you engage in dealing with the populace who come to you. It is important that you recognize, as public servants, that you are to deal with the public efficiently. You are to deal with them promptly. And you are to deal with them to their satisfaction within the ambit of the law. Nothing to do with how you feel about them or how they feel or what they say to you. Those things are only the beginning or the catalysts to generate or to drive you or to get you to do those things which the law prescribes based on the set of circumstances which are presented to you as issues to be resolved. So if someone comes to the department and says that he or she has been terminated, severed, has been fired unlawfully, improperly, whatever, sure you listen and you note. Sure you listen and you interrogate. You interview. You record everything that is said without your interpretation. You're not supposed to interpret what the person is trying to tell you. You're supposed to record what they tell you. And when you shall have recorded what they tell you and they leave, you now have another angle. You have to now go and find out, well, whether or not what they're saying is actually founded in fact, or is it in fiction, or is it only in expectation? Because, let's be frank, if somebody has a job and is terminated and therefore has no income, but has commitments, which that income was supposed to be helping to address or satisfy, they're not going to be happy. And that is why some people come to the department in a state of anger. And that is why if you don't deal with them promptly and efficiently and to, quote unquote, their satisfaction, they get angry. And they call me, what happened to my claim? Can you check my claim for me? Because they want their income. Now, if that were the only side to the coin, it's easy. Once somebody's terminated, pay them. That's not it. You have to be satisfied that the action which they claim took place is actually happened in that way. So to verify that, you now go to the other side and ask. You do the other side of the coin. You now do the interview of the person who, or the business which is accused or against which the claim has been made, to satisfy yourself that the claim has been reported accurately. Get their side, and then you have that balance, and that is where now you apply your understanding of the law and the set of circumstances which have been put before you to the satisfaction of, or the solution to the problem which has been presented to you. Now, Mr. Webb spoke about the theorists indicating that the training of human resources is to allow us to solve problems, may not have used those exact words, but to apply the training and the knowledge you acquire to the resolution of problems and so on. And that is one example. There may be many others and many variations on those matters. But it is through your training, through your understanding of what the law says and how to deal with people, because dealing with people it's not a computer where you just put numbers in. And if you add them right and you subtract them right, you'll get a correct answer. Dealing with people is an art, is not a science. And you have to acquire the skill of dealing with people. And that is what I think igniting team spirit and growing together should be able to help you to do. How do you listen to someone who is irate and angry because he has not had his claim or response from you for 2 months or 3 months or a year or 10 years? How do you deal with someone like that? And that is where you now need to depend on your persons. One other aspect of team spirit is sharing of information among yourselves. There is no silo mentality when it comes to what we do. So even if you are in youth employment even if you are in sickness benefits or whatever it is, you really should be able to share that information, because anything which comes in should be able to have the input of all the staff if it were necessary. So if there's something to do with a particular issue where a claim is made, there's no harm in the claims division having a word with somebody else, because there might be a different point of view, a different perspective. And that is the aspect of team building. If you're on a football team, you can't take the ball and run to the goal every time. You may get away once in a while. But if you have that ball on your foot and they see, and the team sees that you're the person who's running with this ball all the time, the other 10 gonna grab you and you're dead. It's a simple matter. 10 against 1. You can't get very far. And that is, but if you are distributing the ball, passing it around and getting your other team members to help you to move towards the goal, it is more difficult for the 10. They now have to revert to their plan of one-on-one. And one-on-one then equalizes and removes the threat or the disadvantage or whatever it is. I want to interpose some other things in team building and growing together. And that is, you have to be able to trust your teammates. You have to be able to rely on them. You have to know that when they tell you something, that what they're telling you is in fact the truth. And if you're in court, they will say the whole truth and nothing but the truth. Because if you're only getting partial information, then your ability to make a fair judgment or decision would then be impaired, because you only have partial information. And I'm saying that because sometimes we feel that we are each person is a little island unto himself. Not one of us knows everything, and all of us don't know everything about anything. So it is important that you are able to trust the person with whom you work, or the persons with whom you work. And in trusting and having that reliability, it has nothing to do with whether you like the person or not. I really hope to God that we can stamp out among ourselves in the Caribbean this personality which seems to permeate our behaviors when it comes to your work. When you're working in a professional environment, the person next to you could be your biggest enemy. He might help you with the person and you get on, but you have to pass beyond that. You have to see the person as a colleague, as a person on the team. The sad thing is some team players believe that they are the team, and only they are the team because he might be the best player. The best player don't always get the best results. And remember that. The best player doesn't always get the best results at all times. Sometimes he does, sometimes he doesn't. But if you accumulate all of the performances and all of the inputs into the decision making, into the action, then you can get a better result than if you're just focusing on one or two. It has to be accumulated effort. That is what team speaks about. The last thing I want to talk about is the support. And it may have been implied or spoken about indirectly, but support of one for the other. Support of one for the other. And that is the object of pulling in the same direction to acquire the maximum output. And where we are able to say, listen, I can count on so-and-so can say, I will give support to this person who is my team leader or my colleague or my co-worker or whatever you want to say. Because we are all here to accomplish one objective, one specific purpose, and that is to serve the public to the satisfaction and do so that they can have confidence in you. That is what the team building is about, and that will help you to grow together and help you to become the most efficient unit or department in the government service. I know Mr. Wilkin will give you some more information, and you'll be discussing, no doubt, or have role playing and all of those good things, which will help you to hone your own skills and think through situations. But I do believe that engaging in this training, as the chairperson said, is critical. Because if we don't have people trained, then we run the risk of not getting the best out of them. But I'll give you one proviso, one warning. It is this: you can train, let me put it another way. You can expose people to training, but if they're not willing to accept the training, or having been exposed to the training to apply the training, you're not going to get very far. So it is being exposed to the training, having a willingness to accept the training, and having the willingness to apply the training as it would have been given. That is what's going to make the difference. And that is what's going to make the lighting, the team spirit, what it ought to be, and that is what's going to help you to grow together. Exposure, acceptance, and the willingness to demonstrate what you have learned, what you have been trained to do. Thank you very much, and have a wonderful training session. And feel free in the training session to speak. Say whatever you want to say. If you feel that if it's not disrespectful, please be free to say it, because that will help you to satisfy your own, clear your own doubts. Because you will ask for, and it said, well, I'm sure you'll have heard this, ask questions to be made wise. Ask questions so you can get an explanation from the expert. The expert today is Mr. Wilkin. And in your department, you'll have some experts, so you can ask them as well when you go back. But thank you very much, and have a wonderful training session, a wonderful professional day.